Our review of the farming year 2018 continues. Let's talk wool with the GM of wool for PGG Wrightson. His name is Grant Edwards. Back in a past life, he used to play rugby for South Otago when I played rugby for Northern Southland. That's a long, long time ago, Grant. But just I want to stick to South Otago to start with. The sad news that Taratahi Training Institution is in liquidation. It's a shame because they have taken over Telford, and Telford is a farming institution in South Otago. Hundreds and thousands of young people have learnt their trade at Telford. We're not quite sure what's going to happen there. Let's hope they can keep that up and running. But for the wool industry, it's a kick in the guts as well. Good afternoon.
Afternoon, Jamie, and afternoon to all your listeners. Yes, certainly it's a real concern around the Telford and the training. Certainly in my time that I spent in South Otago, I saw the students out on farms in the local area and just what they added to the economy and the vibrancy, if you like, of that Balclutha area and the overall South Otago area. But to your points, from a wool perspective, it certainly is a real concern, and it's been a real concern for the industry just in that training space around wool. We no longer have a wool department at any of our universities. Telford via Taratahi have recently reinstigated the wool certificate program, of which we've got around 35 students that have completed their first year. It's a 2-year course. And it's done by correspondence, but through that campus. And no, it's certainly a real concern because training of our young people coming into not only the wool industry but the wider agricultural industry is key to the survivability or the future of it, if you like. And it's a real concern, Jamie.
Absolutely agree with you. Look, as the GM, the bloke who's in charge of wool for PGG Wrightson, there's no hiding the fact that this has been one hell of a tough year. Wool, strong wool, is effectively at an all-time low. Do we see light at the end of the tunnel, Grant? And I know that Landcorp is often criticised, sometimes for the right reasons too, but this woolen surfboard thing, getting wool to replace fiberglass, we just need innovation like that.
Yes, Jamie, and there are some really good innovations that are coming through the system. Wool research can constitute the fibre, so they can break it right down and make it into powders. Wool's made of protein, so there's some really key attributes that it can be used for. So there's some really key innovations going forward, but it's going to take time, Jamie. And there's also, we see in the world, and it's frustrating for us here, and I know it's frustrating for growers and for values and prices. But when we see everything in the media in regard to plastics, synthetics, health issues, we've got a natural product, a natural fibre here that's sustainable, it's biodegradable, it's fire retardant, it holds moisture, it's got some key and some great attributes, and we're not seeing that reflected in any prices or largely in products that are going forward. There are key innovations that are happening, and we will see it, but it's going to take time. I'm still very, very positive about the future of it, but it's a time issue, and at the moment with what's the world's in a bit of disarray with your Brexits and your trade wars trade tariffs between America and China. China, one of the biggest producers of manufactured items, and America, one of the biggest users. So surely they'll sort themselves out, but the sooner they do, the better, Jamie.
Indeed. Look, I'm not going to dwell on the price of strong wool because we've done that to death on the show this year. You want to touch very briefly a final shot here on preparation. Now, as the price of wool gets lower and lower, and I know this back from my own farming days, you're tempted just to kick it over the edge of the board, straight into the bale, no preparation, but there's a big discount for wool that's not prepared properly, especially after all the rain we've had. We've had the humidity. We're obviously going to get discoloration in our wool. I know it probably goes against the grain, but you're telling me you'd still make money by employing an extra rousey.
Certainly, Jane, and we're seeing that coming through in the market now. And yeah, agree fully to your points on the moisture and that we've had around and the humidity. That increases the degree of colouring that we can see coming through in the wools. On the market at the moment, we're seeing premiums of around 30 cents a kilo greasy between well-prepared, better coloured wools compared with those yellow wools, non-skirted, cotty points or cots, a degree of cotting or webbiness left in. There's a significantly huge difference. So you've got to look at what your general product is, I suppose, in a fleece coming off. But in the same token, with that little bit of extra preparation, you can pick up around 30 cents a kilo if there is, given that there is that good quality of wool that is coming off the sheep.
All right, Grant, really quickly to finish on, because I'm running out of time. I know that fine wool's had a very good year, so we'll tick that box. Is there a premium, or is there going to be a premium for lamb's wool this year?
Lamb's wool's selling strongly at the moment, Jamie. It's early enough, or it's early days, if you like. Certainly those fine crossbred lambs, those early shorn lambs are demanding a good premium, and they're coming through well. We've got some good contracts out there for them if growers are looking to do that. And, that lamb's wool market is solid currently.
On that positive note, we'll leave you. Grant Edwards, GM of Wool for PGG Wrightson. Hey, thanks for providing wool reports throughout 2018. We'll catch you back next year, and I'll tell you what, 2019 is going to be a better year for the wool industry. Merry Christmas.
I'm sure it will, Jamie, and Merry Christmas to you and all your listeners, and have a great time with family and friends, and be safe out there.